Lovely. Alexa, pause. All right, so just to confirm, actually, I wanted the other one. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. And then that guy is for you. All right, so just to confirm, you have 35 numbers written down and then another 10-ish in your phone. Is that correct?
10, yeah, 10. Well, I have the 10 names at home. I just don't know the names right now.
So you're 35 with you today, but like 45-ish
45
in total.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did a nice job hitting the assignment there. And then I believe you're at 12 appointments now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, so 12 appointments. So nice job hitting both of the assignments there. Who were the people on here that you were going to bet on double or nothing that they were going to buy something?
Mark, Kristen Porter on Tuesday.
Got it. If you want to reference it, it's on page 14 in your book. That makes your life easier.
Yeah, I didn't get this number yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get that from my girlfriend's mom,
okay,
who I'm doing a thing for. Actually, I didn't write her down on that. Jerry, I haven't scheduled an appointment. Where's the other?
Was it on the
Mark, Kristen, Jerry? I haven't scheduled an appointment with. Those are the only two that I have appointments scheduled with. I can also bet on my dad. He's a huge chef, like an outdoors guy. He'll probably get
Tony.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's definitely get something. My mom will definitely get something. And then I'll say maybe Carrie.
Cool. If you say maybe, I'm not going to put the star, but I get it. Mark, you seen him with his wife?
Yes.
Beautiful. And do you think they'll get something small, medium, or big?
Medium to big.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And then Kimberly is girlfriend's mom?
That's my mom.
Oh, that is your mom. Oh,
yeah.
That's so cute. I kind of just expected you would do her on Sunday because you're going to be hanging out with her at the Harbor, but that's cool. You get to do her tonight. What do you think she'll end up doing?
She'll probably get something small at first. Probably, I don't know. Because I'm probably going to end up getting the knives that she's going to order something that I'm not going to have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she's going to.
Don't let her be a poacher. I know she raised you for 18 years, but that's not good enough. Kind of kidding. All right. And then for the people you have tomorrow, are they all married?
Yes.
Okay. And then I see a couple dudes' names. Are you seeing them with their wives?
Yeah.
Cool. I figured.
I just called them because those were the numbers that I got.
Yep. I get it. I just wanted to make sure. And then on here, who do you feel most confident buying some stuff?
Probably. I'd like to say Josh because he's a big knife guy, but he already has a bunch of really nice kitchen knives, Japanese kitchen knives.
Oh, good. He's going to get fired up about Cutco. And he's going to be really pissed off at his Japanese knives.
Is that what we're still on Saturday?
Yeah.
Charles might buy something probably small, I'd say. Can we also sell like the tactical knives and stuff? Okay, then he's definitely gonna buy something.
Cool.
He's a firefighter and like huge like hunter / like tactical guy. Farhad will definitely buy something. Probably something small, maybe medium. And then Carrie will probably buy something small and medium.
Cool. What about poor Aunt Laura?
She might get something. If she gets something, she's probably just gonna get like a single like bread cutter or like the chef knife or something. She probably won't go like all out. So probably will get something small. Bill is one of my mom's like longtime friends that I've known for since I was little
Mhm.
as well. He might get something, um, but those two would probably be something small.
Cool.
Maybe like a paring knife or something. I'm not sure.
Uh-huh. Can I give you a tip? So
Sure.
for these two, and you may want to jot this down and make a note to yourself so you don't forget. So Aunt Laura and Bill, they're married, they're middle-aged couples, and I'm assuming that they're middle class or higher. And that means that they're actually our target demographic. I
Okay.
remember for me, I kind of mentioned this yesterday, but my Aunt Roxanne, who's like the retired hippie,
Mm-hmm.
she was the one that I really thought she was poor and didn't have a lot of money. She owns 5 cars, but only one of them is ever running.
Mm.
And it's a different car. Like whenever I see her, one
Mhm.
car's in the shop, one car broke down, one car's working, you know? So I really thought that she was on the lower end of income and that she wouldn't be able to afford it.
Mhm.
And she was my last appointment that I did on my Saturday. And she was my biggest sale I made all weekend. Right. My brother, who was wealthy, he bought some. He bought like $300-400, but nothing crazy. My Aunt
Mhm.
Roxanne ended up buying 2 $500 orders. So she was 1,000, but it was like 2 orders.
Mhm.
It was weird, but she spent $1,000.
That's awesome.
And then over time, it took her several years, but she now owns almost $4,000 worth of Cutco, and she's like one of my biggest spending customers. But she's the one who's like not wealthy.
Mhm.
The only reason I say that is that they are the target demographic. So regardless of whatever perception you might have, just be careful not to prejudge and assume
Mhm.
they wouldn't buy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
However, one tip I would give is that you still have 3 people on your top 5 list that you haven't booked yet.
Mhm. I'm definitely
So,
trying to get those booked.
so
Jerry, I've been
here's the
playing.
tip I would give though. Ready?
Mhm.
If you can get them to book an appointment during the time that you have Aunt Laura or Bill, I would do that.
Mhm.
Right? I would just put them in there and then say, "Hey, Aunt Laura, sorry, I had a conflict. Can we do it
Mhm.
Monday?" Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that would be my recommendation. If you can get one of the people that you were literally willing to bet your paycheck on and slide them into an appointment
Mhm.
where you're just not as confident, I would make that call and then also show Aunt Laura just on a different time or Uncle Bill. Uh, and then if you can't, do the appointment, but just make sure you go in with an open mind and
Mhm.
give them your best possible service. Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool. And then you've done a nice job here, just FYI. So you have 10 appointments from now to Monday. And it looks like you still have 3 appointment slots that aren't filled, specifically on Monday. So check this out. If you have between 10 and 13 appointments, just by the averages, this is being mediocre. So this isn't being a straight A student. It's also not being a C student. It's B's, right?
Mhm.
You should end up with between 6 and 8 orders. And with an average order of $350, that's 700, between 2,100 and $2,500 sold. And that would put your first paycheck between $220 and $300 for your first 72 hours on the job,
That's awesome.
which wouldn't suck.
Mhm.
Right? Here's what's cool though, and this is the reason that I do want you to keep trying to get your people that you were going to bet on, get them sooner,
Mhm.
because they're more likely to buy, right? And
Exactly.
buy larger stuff generally. So I mentioned this yesterday, but it's a numbers game. A large sale is anything over $1,000.
Mhm.
If you had someone who was like, I just want the best set, whatever the biggest one is, I'll take that. That's a $3,000 set.
Do you tell them that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, every now and then you get someone who's like, I want to buy the top of the line. What is that? Right? Or they're like, I really enjoy cooking. What's the best you've got?
Mhm.
Or they're like, hey, I heard my neighbor bought a set. I want to get a better set because I like to keep up with the Joneses. Right? So absolutely. I actually just had a customer last week where the husband was like, listen, I know about Cutco. I know it's good. I know that I'm interested. I already have an idea in my head of what set I want, but talk to my wife and we'll see what happens. And then I did. I started talking to the wife. And as we were talking, the husband was thinking about getting a 6-piece set that would have been like $700, which wasn't bad. But as I started talking to him, he's like, "Oh, I need this because I do this food. I need this." And the wife's like, "Well, I want this one and I want this one." And we ended up just like based on their cooking habits, they wanted the bigger set,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I gave him the option, just like a car, we have the base model and then the sport
Mhm.
package. And I showed him, I was like, "Here, this is what comes in the base model. This is what comes in the sport package." And both of them were like, "Oh, that sport package is nice." So it was a $3,000 set. Yeah. Does that happen all the time? No, but it does happen with your best people. So that's why I wanted you to. Actually, the concept that a manager taught me one time. He says it's kind of like when you play pinball. When you play pinball, like every single bumper puts points on the board. You touch something and you get points for it, right? But sometimes the lights light up. And when you hit the lit up bumper, you get bonus points. That's when you sell a set. And then he said, sometimes you get the jackpot, and like the real bonus is when you like millions of points. He said that's the $3,000 set is like when all the lights light up, and it doesn't happen all the time, but if you keep hitting the lit up bumpers, eventually all of the lights will come on. Then you just gotta execute, and you get the jackpot, right? So that's like that. But check this out. Let's say you don't sell any $3,000 sets this week because I saw your eyes go big, and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't sell that." You'll get there. But check it out. What if you just had 2 people spend $1,000? Now, for the customer, it looks like a big number, but for the customer, they only have to spend $257 a month for 5 months with no interest and no fee.
Is everybody approved for that?
Yes, you're approved for it.
Okay.
Not that I'm trying to sell it to you, but
yeah.
But in all seriousness, yeah, everybody's approved $257. So $1,000 order is actually pretty affordable.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
If you get 2 people who spend $1,000, that's $2,000 there. Then you have another I'm going to call it 8 to 10 appointments because that'll make my math easier. And just by being mediocre on the other appointments, you could expect to sell another $1,400 to $1,800, and that puts you between $3,000 and $5,000 sold. And now your paycheck is closer to $400 to $800 instead of $200 to $300.
So if I were to go through like 2 or 3 promotions this weekend, would I get paid that commission? Okay.
It's good.
That is good.
It's good.
That is good.
So why do I show you that? 2 reasons. One, you've done a really nice job so far, and I want to give you the encouragement to keep making phone calls. Don't stop, and especially try to get your best people right away. And I'd like you to make an effort. And if you want to write this down, focus on sets. Customers can buy whatever they want. We'll cover this in great detail today. So don't worry about all the details right now because it will be covered. But I just want to kind of put the seed in your head. Focus on sets. Sets are better for the customer because, number one, they get the right tool for the right job. The product is safer when you're not misusing it. It also lasts longer, right? They'll stay sharp for 7 to 10 years unless you misuse them, right? Just like tires on your car, they're supposed to last for about 25,000 miles unless you're doing burnouts every day, right? So it's the same deal. If you use them properly and you have the right tool, they last a lot longer and it's safer. So that gives you a better customer experience. Also, all of our sets come with storage that is child-proof or child-safe, which is great. They come in wood blocks or trays, but it's made for protection of the knives and the customer. All the sets are discounted by between 10 to 20% off of the retail price.
I saw that online.
And they come with free stuff. So the customers get a good deal when they buy a set. So that's all in it for the customer. The sets are better than individual knives for those reasons. For you, sets are better because they're bigger orders, right? By the way, for the customer, they can do monthly payments. And again, we'll cover that in detail later, but all the sets qualify for monthly payments, which means it's just sometimes easier for the customer to budget that than it would be to go shop a la carte. For you, it's bigger orders and they really move the needle forward for you. So focus on sets. The key operative word, and you're going to hear me talk about this again later, but I want to put the bug in your ear now, and you can just write it down. Ready? Try it out. Try it out. The easiest concept in the world that I've found when I'm selling Cutco is I'm not trying to get the customer to make a final decision on the spot.
Mhm.
I just want them to try it out.
Try it for the 15.
Exactly. Yep. Try it out. The easy analogy I like to give, that I wouldn't say this to a customer, but to help you just kind of conceptualize it. If I introduce you, assuming that you didn't have a girlfriend who I'm sure is amazing,
Mhm.
but we'll pretend, right? If I introduced you to an amazing girl and she was attractive and she had a great personality and you talked to her for 5 minutes and you just clicked,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Do you like her?" And you're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you want to get married?" You'd be like, "Whoa, that's a lot,"
Mhm.
right? And sometimes that happens with a customer and you're like, "Do you like the Cutco?" They're like, "Yeah." Like, "Do you want to have it in your kitchen forever?" They're like, "Whoa, that's a big commitment." Versus, I'm like, "Hey, do you like her? Would you like to go on a date?" That's an easy yes. With a customer, it's like, "Do you like the Cutco? Do you want to just try it out for the 15
Mhm.
days and see what happens?" It's a much easier yes. Right. So
Same.
with all of my customers, I'm not pushing, "Do you want to buy this and have it forever?" I'm always just, "Hey, do you want to try it out for the 15 days and see what happens?"
Mhm.
Right. And it makes it way more low key. Do you feel good about that?
I do.
And like I said, I want you to present that to everybody, knowing that some people will not buy. Some people will just buy a knife or two or a small order. That's okay. You don't need everybody to buy a big set.
Mhm.
You just need two people. But two people doing it makes
The difference.
such a world of difference. Is that pretty cool?
It is.
Beautiful. So